Hello, welcome back to my sand-centered Minecraft human history Let's Play. This is where I talk about archaeology and our own human history through the very pixelated lens of Minecraft. Last episode was a wild ride, but today I just want to kick back, relax, chat, and catch some fish. I thought it best to make sure that I've established all the general and important things of the early Stone Age before I move on. Because you don't want to rush the prehistory, you know? Oh, what's prehistory, I hear you ask? Prehistory is all of our history before the time of written records. Before people wrote things down, none of that existed. And all we had were the artifacts and the imprints that we found in the ground. I have a task for today. Apart from summarizing a little bit about the Paleolithic and Mesolithic area, I do have an important task. You see, I am still quite naked. And I realize I haven't really talked much about clothing. I mentioned it slightly, but there's a lot of things that I still need to talk about. You see, ever since we started walking on two legs, it has been a long walk out of Africa, where we all originated. Following the retreat of the last ice age, the early humans started to conquer almost all of the old world, being Africa, Asia, and Europe. And walking out into these areas must mean that the climate must have changed. I mean, you're walking along with the last ice age. It's going to be cold suddenly. It's going to be different climates than you're used to. And we know that Neanderthals would get all comfy cozies with like big furs and stuff because Neanderthals came to Europe before our ancestors did. Now, needles were actually a thing really early on in the Paleolithic times. They made needles out of antlers and bone and stuff, and they had the technology to make clothes. They just maybe didn't have any use for it early on. But now that they've wandered into new climates, it's time to get dressed. Murder time! Whoa, that's a fast runner. Whew. Clothing can be one or two things. It can be very utilitarian, or it could be fashionable. Now, we shouldn't think of fashion as such a modern concept, you know? I mean, probably in the beginning, clothing was more for just a usefulness perspective, you know? You wore clothes because it was cold, or you got little bruises and scratches when you didn't have clothes on. So that was probably the first idea of it. But as soon as humans started living together and, you know, chatting up a store, that's a lot of cows. Nice. When people started chatting and socializing, it's very obvious that like a social construct of some sort got made, and people can use clothes to symbolize. Maybe it was like an important person or a certain color or a certain thing, and that is fashion, you know? So while I'm working on my daily task here, let me summarize a bit more of what we have already gone through. When humans started walking up on two legs, that means that our hands were free, which means you can use tools. In addition to having your hands free, what humans have are opposable thumbs. You see, our thumbs are opposable. Not a lot of animals got these babies, all right? Some monkeys and primates have like fake opposable thumbs, or they just don't have thumbs at all. Which means that they still can grip and do a lot of cool things, but they don't have that grip strength and the control of our hands like we do. And with these opposable thumbs, we were just perfectly designed by evolution to use tools. And I have already explained a lot of tools. We have gone from early Paleolithic times where you had hammer stones and scrapers and bi-faced hand axes. And eventually we got to Mesolithic time where you had fishing rods and bow and arrows, little microliths, which is the little tiny serrated edges, little tools that they would use. They made like knives and needles. They had an amazing arsenal of tools that could do most things. Oh, I'm starving to death. I should eat. What in the... Going to bed, ignoring it. I have stuff to do. Now, if anyone is curious about how archaeologists just find stuff around and know what it is, I will give you a little bit of a Minecraft example. Whoop, what is this? There's something in the ground that looks like it's not supposed to be there. Or is it? So we see two objects that we are curious about. So we have to dig. There are countless of methods and strategies. There are machines to help. I'm not going to go into detail about that. If anyone's curious about the actual archaeological methods, just let me know in the comments and I'll talk about it for sure. Let's just simply dig this out so we can get a better look as to what we have here. So we got two stone objects. This one over here just looks like a regular stone. It doesn't look like anything special has been done to it. Even if the shape is a little abnormal, remember that nature can do stuff to stones over time. Polish them, change their shape. What we're looking for is stuff like this. Now this is an object that nature couldn't have created. It's modified too much and in a strange way that it's not possible for nature to have done this. You will see, and I'll put up a photo somewhere, you will see that on the edges of some of these stone tools, a repeated striking of this stone by another force has happened. It is a pattern of movement that cannot have happened by random. It must have been by animals who know how to use tools. Us. The dudes with the opposable thumbs. Now, even when you find stuff like this and you figure out that, yep, this thing is made by humans, this is not nature, then what do? You can't just stop there because you don't know if it's real. You don't know where it's from even. You see, archaeology is quite the cutthroat industry. History can work as a commodity. The person who owns history owns the truth. And for a very long time, a lot of countries, religions, group of people want to own history so they can twist it and turn it and make it work for their agenda. This is why when you find an item, you can't ever be really sure. For example, in 1907, there was found a jawbone in Germany belonging to Homo heidelbergensis, one of our very early ancestors. Yay, Germany! Coincidentally, a gentleman named Mr. Dawson found another skull in the UK. Very much at the same time and very interestingly perfect. So UK now had in their possession the missing link of our genetic tree. Wowee! England was now known as the birthplace of humanity. They freaking did it! The years went on, and in 1953, decades later, some person was like, is that skull just a human skull with a orangutan jaw glued to it? What? And it was. Dawson, who had by then died, happily knowing that no one would ever know his little lie, figured out that he had just made it up. And this is why archaeology is scary. You don't know who's lying, because there's so many archaeologists. Everyone's digging like crazy, trying to find that one good thing. And there's some archaeologists in the world that just finds everything and everyone hates them. And there are some that dig for their entire life and find nothing. That's why we need to head to the lab. You see, the skull that Dawson tried to make seem was real was actually disproven with the help of fluorine dating. And this is one of many methods for dating artifacts, figuring out where they're from, you have carbon dating and the fluorine dating. You also can use isotopic analysis to see what it's made of, genetic analysis to reveal organic material. There are so many cool things you could do at the laboratory, which means that archaeology and natural science just goes hand in hand. Again, I'm not going to go very in-depth out of how these things work. It is very fascinating. And again, if people want to hear about it, let me know, and I will. I'll try to make it into an easy topic and explain it. I think I murdered all of the cows here, which again, pretty historically accurate. Humans did have a blame in the death of countless species. You just ate them all. Ooh, continuing in my summarization, remember I said in the beginning that humans were really into art and cave paintings and stuff. I have made a little cave here by my new base just to, just to have somewhere to express myself. I feel like it looks really nice. The artistic side of humans have always been there. It's been a part of us all the time. It's not a modern thing either. A lot of the old cave paintings were amazing. Jewelry even, accessories made by antlers and shells. They would wear necklaces and bracelets. It's very early on. It was all very similar to how we live today. So to kind of finish up our summary episode, here are the most important keywords of our prehistory: technology, innovation, and a cultural development. Everything you and I are today was created then. They learned everything about the world in this time so that we can sit here today knowing all of this, because that knowledge is contained within our entire lineage of human beings, thanks to these early humans who tried that out first. And with that, I will end this episode and close the chapter on the very early Stone Age. Next time, we will move into one of humans' greatest revolutions that marks a big change in our history. And if you're excited about it, like and subscribe so you'll know when it comes. And if you have any questions, comment. I will do my best to answer them. Maybe even I'll show it in the game if I can. And stay tuned. I would love for you to come with me next time as well.